What's going on, guys? My name is Spencer. This is S&B Garage. Today we're going to be doing a little body work on the fender flares, getting those to fit right, and fiberglass front valence that I just picked up off eBay. So let's roll that intro and get right to it. So as you guys probably remember if you watched the last episode, the fitment on those fiberglass flares was not perfect. There was gaps basically in between the body and the fiberglass in some places. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand down the spots where it touches until the whole thing is flush with the body. Now, let me show you guys that front valence I got. It's not in perfect condition, but I got a really good deal on it, so I'm pretty happy about that. So we're just going to have to do a little work to it, cleaning it up and getting it looking perfect again. So guys, sitting right here in front of the car is that valence I was talking about. So that's basically just going to bolt to the bottom of the bumper. Now the parts that I was talking about where it's a little bit damaged, let's see. So right here, as you can see, the fiberglass is cracked a bit. And it's the same case down here at the bottom of it. Going to damage it a little more there. Now for the most part though, besides that, it's in pretty good condition. There's a few cracks here and there, like right here. There's another little crack, but I got it for like 50 bucks. They're normally like $250, so I'm happy about the purchase. So let's just get started, I guess. So we're going to start with the front valence so that it has time to cure while we're doing everything else. So I just got some epoxy here, and I'm going to epoxy the pieces that are loose back together, and then we'll basically just use fiberglass reinforced body filler to make it look pretty again. So now that we have the epoxy on that front valence curing, we can get started on this. So basically all I'm going to do here is go around and mark the parts of the bumper with just a Sharpie. Let's see, let me angle the camera a bit for you. Right there. I'm going to go around and I'm going to mark where the bumper is not lining up perfectly. Or excuse me, fender. So I'm going to start the mark where it starts not touching, end it where it is touching again. Now my reason for doing this is basically I'm just going to sand down the parts of the bumper that are touching, and that should bring the parts that aren't touching in closer to the body. So I'm going to start with the 80 grit just so I can move through a lot of material pretty quick. And yeah, I'll just get started with it. So guys, now that I have the fiberglass fender basically fit up to as close as it's gonna get, let's see, I laid down this line of tape. I'm gonna let it focus real quick. There we go. I laid down this line of tape all the way around, and the outer edge of the tape is the outer edge of the fender flare. So basically I'm gonna be cutting on this inner edge of this tape, so along this line, so that I have this lip here to work with to have to actually fasten the fender flare on. So I'm just going to take an angle grinder and start cutting that guy out. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I was about to just go on about how, you know, I was so nervous to cut into a perfectly good quarter panel on an old vintage car, you know, something that's never gonna be produced again, but honestly, seeing how awesome these flares look, I really don't care. Like, I don't know, you know, I thought I would feel a little bit more guilty for it, but, you know, do what you can for the width. This is gonna look so good. So, I didn't get the gaps perfect, but I got them real tight. So basically, my plan, I'm going to attempt to get the actual steel to pull out and get closer to the fender flare itself, since the fender flare doesn't want to go in. Because I don't want it to be too wavy, but I'm afraid I might get a little bit of waviness. So I guess we'll just see. I gotta run to the hardware store, buy hardware for the actual fasteners, because I want to buy that hardware before I start drilling stuff, just so I know the exact sizes. So I'm gonna go grab all that stuff, and then we're probably just gonna start drilling. So guys, it's a couple days later. I've been trying to work on this thing, but I just haven't really had that much time in the past few days. So I'm back. Where I left off, I said I needed to go buy some hardware. I ended up getting hardware for this thing. So really all I need to do now is drill the holes in the fiberglass for the bolts to go through. So I'm not riveting them on, I'm bolting them on. I got button head cap bolts. You'll see them in just a minute. But I need to mark on the fenders where I want to run the bolts and measure and make sure it all looks good. So I'm gonna get to doing that. I'm just gonna play around with different patterns, not really patterns, different spacings basically, and how far in from the edge of the fender to place the bolts. So I'll mark them down with a Sharpie and then bring you guys back when I find something that I'm happy with. So guys, I believe I have a pattern. All these dots are gonna be where I have a bolt. So basically there's 6.5 inches between these two. Or these three actually, those are all 6.5 inches spaced. And then these ones have 9 inches between them, and then it goes back to 6.5 for these ones. The reason for that is it fits really well up top, and it sort of conforms to the body a bit more. Down here it's going to need a little bit more work, but I think overall, as a whole, if it focuses ever, let's see, manual focus it. As a whole, it's going to look good with the spacing like that. I think it just looks like it makes sense. So I'm gonna pull it off the body, and I'm gonna drill the holes in the fiberglass first, and then I'm gonna mount it on the body and drill the holes in the body through the fiberglass itself, so that I make sure I get a perfect like basically drill the holes in the perfect spot on the body. So guys, there is the flare for the most part bolted on. It's looking pretty good. Now I don't have these bottom right two, what do you call them, bolts bolted in, because I need to re-drill the holes for those. They were pretty far off, if I'm going to be honest. Luckily it's all underneath the flare, so you won't ever be able to tell. But they were just off because once the flare actually flexed to fit the body, they needed to be moved. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Let's just go back on the rear of the car. And look at that, look how wide it is. Looks so good. That fitment's pretty darn good on there, so yeah, that's gonna be it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Took me like all week to make it, even though it was a pretty quick episode. Just been real busy with stuff and haven't had a lot of time to work on the car. Now, next episode, I should just be working on the front. I'll do the other rear one off camera because it's the same exact thing. But next episode, I'll be working on the front, and I'll be getting the, what's it called, the front valence all finished up as well. So look forward to that. Should be getting my wheels here real soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's why I'm getting these flares on, so the wheels will actually fit in the Fender wells. So yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. Make sure hit a like, leave me a comment, tell me what you think about these flares, how they look on the car, and subscribe if you want to see more. That's gonna be it. Have a good one. Peace.